Hi, I'm Alois Bunjira and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
Zimbabwe's finest radio. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they'll come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
A big thank you to Babes Wear Drive, Ms. Red, as well as Simba, and Babes Wear News, Martha Mamombe, who brought us the leading news stories at the top of the hour. But this is ZiFM Sport, the biggest loser of the day, Mapincha, out in South Africa. But we don't dwell on that. We dwell on the big winners, and we start at the Answer Awards that were held on Friday night. We take a look at the winners at that awards ceremony before we go to our international sports news, where Roger Federer has reached another milestone by capturing his 100th career title. And in the beautiful game, another Clasico at the Estadio Santiago Bernabeu ended with a win for Barcelona, but the latest one undoubtedly has even more special meaning for the victors. And of course, the story in the English Premier League is that Liverpool is no longer tops. They trail Man City by 1 point. 9 matches still to go. Can the Reds remain in the hunt? And in the studio to help answer all those questions, led by our producer Sean Tafirenyika, is Alois Bunjira, Barry Manandi, and myself, Mike Madoda.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Okay, let's get the sucker on the road. But before we get there, get in touch with us on 0731-168-045 for hashtags, as well as your thoughts, your views, and comments. We start at the annual National Sports Awards, the ANZAs, which were held on a Friday night in the capital, Harare. The 2 big winners at the event, the Sportsman of the Year, Wilfred Mushaya, Martial Arts and Kubudo, and the Sportswoman of the Year, Grace Chirumanzu, for karate. Now, we caught up with Grace Chirumanzu, who shared her journey from being a sports journalist to winning the Sportswoman of the Year award. Let's hear from Grace.
Having that background as a sports journalist, it's really interesting for me because I got to experience the other side of the story that I was writing. I used to interview a lot of sportswomen and got to tell their story, the inspiring stories, their stories of the stories of working hard, and it really got me inspired and to also try venturing in sports. And it's something that is really great because I got to get some great life skills and lessons from it. And so it's not only about telling the story of the women in sport, but also to be involved and also get to pick up lessons that sport teach women and also men in our society. It feels exciting because, this award has been won by people like Jesse Coventry, Karastek, Ellen Costa Sinclair, a lot of amazing women who have been doing great things in Zimbabwe. And for me to be classified among those women means a lot. It means that, my efforts and my achievements in sports are recognized, and it just feels incredible when we come together as Zimbabweans and celebrate that achievement. The highest point in my achievements, I would say, was the tournament in Glasgow, Scotland, last year, where I represented Zimbabwe at a national tournament, and I managed to win a bronze medal. It was really great to to represent my country at that highest stage and be able to win something. So that is one achievement that really stick out and managed to get me nominated for the Sportswoman of the Year. So it's really amazing, and it also inspires me to dream even bigger. Right now, I'm now looking at competing world championships in Japan, and I'm going to use this year to prepare that and make sure that by the time next year the tournament is being staged, I'm all ready, and I'm all ready to represent Zimbabwe and probably win a medal.
The story of Grace Chirumanzu, the Sportswoman of the Year 2018 at the Anzas. And you've got to say that the award couldn't have gone to a nicer person, Barry. And what a remarkable journey for Grace Chirumanzu, transitioning from the media to the sports field, as it were. In this case, karate. Very good journalist and proving to be one of the top sportswomen in this country.
Yeah, I mean, look, the story of her moving from journalism to actually being a participant and a sports person in itself is a phenomenal story already. And then for her to go on and actually be award-winning and win Sportswoman of the Year for her exploits in karate, I think that adds the cherry on top and adds a lot of deserved gloss onto a career that's already burgeoning. And yet it's somebody who we were sitting in the media tribunal at sports events just, it seems like yesterday, but now she's the sort of person we're talking about as being a sports person. That's phenomenal.
Alois, when you take a look at the recipients of the major awards, Wilfred Mushai, martial arts and Kubudo, then you have got, of course, Grace Chirumanzu. It looks like martial arts is a place that needs serious looking at as far as Zimbabwean sport is concerned, and some investment, because we have been getting some big performances out of our karatekas, as well as, of course, those that are taking part in martial arts over the last few years. They are performing not just locally, regionally, but they're also doing the business internationally. This could be an area of strength for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I think we really need to look at it, when we see that we are actually getting winners internationally. It's just, I think it's not just karate, it's actually some of the minority sports that we can actually make do and do well in them, but we tend to neglect them when focusing on the big rugby, cricket, soccer, where we have failed over and over again at international level. But there are other sports that we know that we can actually develop players to international superstardom. See now, Grace Chirumanzu and all the recipients, they are actually doing well internationally. We need to look at that and promote those minority sports as well.
Yeah, Barry, and of course, listen, Grace, fascinating story, and News Bay as well. Rumbizai Takawira is another one as well. She's a karateka.
She's another karateka as well. And so, yeah.
She's a karateka.
She's a karateka, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So be careful when you're talking to her.
Approach with caution.
With absolute caution. And
thanks for the heads up.
Fun fact about Wilfred Mushai, of course, who was a Sportsman of the Year and of course then won the Sportsperson of the Year award altogether. Mike was telling me earlier, this guy's a certified ninja, hey? Mm-hmm. He's certified as a ninja.
Yeah.
So I just said that they had to give him the awards because there was fear of personal harm to the organizers.
Don't spill his beer.
Make him your friend and becomes your bodyguard.
Now let's take a look at, of course, the other awards that were up for grabs on Friday night. Junior Sportswoman of the Year went to Lorraine Ashley Bass for rowing. Junior Sportsman of the Year, Ryan Gwizima for squash. Junior Sportswoman of the Year with a disability, Grace Inyamadzao, that is athletics. Junior Sportsman of the Year with a disability, Selassie Chiwisa, golf, Special Olympics. And then Sportswoman of the Year with a disability, Margaret Bangajena, wheelchair racing. Sportsman of the Year with a disability, Isaac Gutu, golf, Special Olympics. Team of the Year went to the rowing team, made up of Patrick as well as Rory Plunkett. And then the coach of the year was Gilbert Nyamutsamba of the Sevens rugby team. Technical official of the year, Rick Fulton of triathlon. Junior sportsperson of the year, Ryan Gwizima squash. And sportsperson of the year, of course, Wilfred Mushaya, martial arts Kubudo. Now, guys, let's talk about our netball team, because I would have expected at these Anzas to have at least seen our netball team pick up one or two of the awards. You know, as far as the team of the year is concerned, and maybe even the coach of the year. They are at the World Cup in Liverpool in July. For the first time, they're going to be hitting it out with some of the biggest netball nations in the world. An achievement that, well, the awards chose to turn their noses up at.
Yeah, you know, you took the question right from my mouth, and I was about to ask. Look at the girls; they are at the World Cup, guys. And you know, when I was listening to you announcing the award winners, you know, it looked like they decided to look at the minority sport, those sports, squash, you know, those rowing, you know, those kind of sport. Maybe they decided, you know what, let's actually give them a chance and look at the minority sport, maybe by way of promoting them. I don't know, but because when you look at the bigger picture, the netball team has achieved more than any other team international at the moment.
If I may play devil's advocate and possibly say that perhaps what came into the determination of team of the year and possibly coach of the year, especially coach of the year, where Gilbert Nyamtsamba of the Sevens Rugby was given the nod, largely because the Sevens team went to the World Cup last year, which is the year under review.
Yeah.
The netball team is going to the World Cup, albeit that they qualified last year, they're going to the World Cup this year. Perhaps we could see when these answers, perhaps if they're held correctly, because they're held every December. These ones are late. So if they're held this coming December, perhaps we could find team of the year and possibly coach of the year coming out of netball.
Yeah, that could be a point.
It's going to be weird, because the netball is going to be played like right in the middle of the year, and then there's going to be nothing.
Yeah, but I think the point that Barry is saying is that the awards are for 2018. These awards that were held. And so for the 2019 awards, they then take into consideration what has happened in the year 2019. And for the netball team, I think their participation in the World Cup is in 2019. So I think we'll then be
well to qualify in 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also go back as well and say, did the Cheetahs get it in 2017?
Exactly.
They then got it in 2018 when they participated.
When they went to the World Cup.
So that might be the reason. We're not saying it's right, Alois. We are saying that might be the reason. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the next awards to see if the netball team are actually going to be awarded that award.
We won't forget.
Yeah, we won't forget. This is ZiFM Sport on a Monday. A reminder for our WhatsApp platform 0731-168-045, Twitter and Facebook. Follow and interact with @ZiFM Sport. Coming up, we've got a local sports news roundup where we give you cricket, rugby as well as motorsport, and then we go international with our sports news and take a look at the magnificent career of Roger Federer.
How is it, guys? Elvis Tibulayo Pomba Moyo, WPF.
This is The Bomb.
All Africa heavyweight champion 2-time. You are listening to ZiFM Sport.
In cricket news, a brilliant second wicket partnership of 200 between Brian Chari and Craig Irvin, with both scoring a ton each, saw Tusker score a remarkable 8-wicket victory over Mountaineers at Takashinga Sports Club yesterday. With the win, the Wulayo-based franchise have booked a place in Friday's Pro 50 Championship final at Harare Sports Club against the Eagles. Elsewhere, some fine bowling by Daniel Jackiel on a fast pitch at Kwekwe Sports Club enabled Eagles to keep their unbeaten record in the Pro 50 Championship as they made light work of Rhinos to win by 6 wickets. Jackiel, showing admirable accuracy as well as pace, took full advantage of it by taking 6 Rhinos wickets for only 26 runs in 7.4 overs. In rugby news, Aaron Jani's administration profile took another giant leap at the weekend when the Zimbabwe Rugby Union president was voted into the powerful Rugby Africa Executive Committee during the Continental Body's meeting in Marrakesh, Morocco. Jani, who has seen his remarkable turnaround efforts of the country's third biggest sport rewarded by being voted among the 5 elected members of the Rugby Africa Executive Committee. In a rare move for local rugby administrators, Jani made it onto the elite body that is normally dominated by North Africans. We wrap it up with motorsport news, where a Zimbabwean chemical engineer, Stephanie Travers, has scaled new heights by joining Formula One champion and racing car driver Lewis Hamilton's racing team as the Petronas trackside fluid engineer for the 2019 season. Travers, who is 24 years old, was born in Harare to Maria and Bertram Travers, and she is the granddaughter of Pat Travers, the late chairman of Arcadia United Football Club. She beat 7,000 other applicants and successfully completed 5 rigorous levels of the selection process last year. Congratulations to Stephanie Travers at Mercedes.
To all you Twitter heads, connect with ZiFM Stereo on twitter.com/ZiFM Stereo. /ZiFM Stereo.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Okay, after winning his 100th career title in Dubai at the weekend, Roger Federer has put his incredible longevity in tennis down to mental toughness, staying injury-free, a strong support network, and a sprinkling of good fortune along the way. He is just the second man after American Jimmy Connors to reach the landmark and the first for 36 years. Federer's titles have come across 19 years on all the sports surfaces in 30 cities and 19 countries. The Swiss superstar called the achievement a dream come true. Let's hear from him.
I'm delighted, I'm so happy. It's great to win my 8th here in combination with the 100th. So it's been a wonderful week for me. Difficult conditions throughout and tough opponents all the way to Stefanos today. What a great run he's had as well by winning Marseille last week and making it to the finals. It's really hard to do. Different continents, so credit to him as well for playing a great tournament. But of course for me it's an absolute dream come true right now. I'm so happy I'm still playing. I won my first title back in 2001 in Milan. Lars Graf was here. I know he doesn't want to make a big fuss about it, but he was my umpire back in the day. Now he's the tournament supervisor, so I'm happy he didn't have to come out on court and, put me in my place. But that's been a long, wonderful journey, and it's all started as a junior world champion, and it's been great. I wouldn't do it any differently. I've loved every minute. Of course, it's tough sometimes to be on the road and away from your friends, but it was all very, very worthwhile, the sacrifice, and we'll see how much more I got left in the tank, but reaching 100 is definitely an absolute dream come true for me.
Oh my goodness, one of the great ones, eh? And especially to be... listen, we've already installed him in the pantheon of greats, but also now to be right there with Jimmy Connors is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. If not the greatest, Barry.
Yeah.
You're talking about the pantheon.
Exactly.
I think he sits at the top of the table. 20 Grand Slam titles, 8 Wimbledon, 6 Australian Open, 5 US Open, and 1 French Open. He's won 27 Masters 1000 titles, and these are the premier tournaments like Cincinnati, Madrid, Indian Wales, Miami, Shanghai, Canada, and Paris, and a clutch of other tournaments. So he's absolutely fantastic, and of course he's now just 9 short of Jimmy Connors, and you'd like to think that he might be able to get there, but he's a bit long in the tooth now.
Yes,
because of his age. He might not get there. He might not get there because I feel he needs perhaps more than 2 years to actually get there.
And also he needs a bit of good fortune in terms of injuries to other protagonists for those titles. So I don't think he's gonna make it, but still, like, as you say, the greatest.
Yeah, and you know what? Just taking a look at some of the stats here that our producer Sean Tafrinika has just thrown up, and I'm taking a look at the men as opposed to the women, and you got women like Martina Navratilova, 167 tournament wins. Chris Evert, 157. Steffi Graf, 107. And yet sometimes we almost speak of the women as if they are a lesser competitor on the tennis court. And yet they are actually achieving more than the men.
Yeah, we're very guilty of that, and it's largely because of how we perceive the women's game. And I think that when we've seen, and those names you've just rattled off, you look at their dominance in the eras when they were playing. When we look at the dominance in the women's game, it's over a prolonged period. Somebody rises, like for instance, a Serena, and they dominate over time. And I think that takes more doing. There's yes, the men's game might be a little bit more competitive, but to dominate is very, very key.
Yeah, I think I do agree with Barry. When you look at women, most of the time you will see a woman that is like dominant for a long time, all on her own and winning everything. So that is what in men it's very rare. Federer might be dominating, but here and there is somebody who wins 1 or 2 of the titles. So I think that's why. But hats off to the women as well. We can actually see 167 is not a joke.
It's a big number.
It's a big number.
Hi, this is Benjamin Locke. I'm on the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in Johannesburg, where Imran Tahir returned to his very best form, and then Faf du Plessis hit his 11th century in the format as the Proteas coasted to an 8-wicket victory over Sri Lanka with 11 overs to spare in the opening one-day international at the Wanderers Stadium. In terms of the ICC World Cup preparation, the Proteas ticked one very important box, and that was the achievement in taking 6 wickets for 154 runs in the middle power play. In Florida, Keith Mitchell holed a testing 15-foot birdie putt on the final green to snatch a one-shot victory at the Honda Classic. The 27-year-old American held his nerve in the closing stages at PGA National to edge out Brooks Koepka and Ricky Fowler, carding a 3 under 67 to secure his maiden PGA Tour win. Mitchell, the world number 162, had appeared out of contention when he bogeyed the opening 2 holes in the final round, but he regained his composure to emerge from a logjam at the top of the leaderboard. And touching down in Las Vegas, Ben Pinkelman scored 2 tries as the United States of America beat Samoa 27-0 to defend its Las Vegas Sevens title and move clear atop at the standings in the World Rugby Sevens Series. In our Super Rugby results from matches played over the weekend, the Jaguares beat the Auckland Blues 23-19. The Sharks edged by the Stormers 16-11. The Bulls too good for the Lions 30-12 at Ellis Park. The Crusaders fantastic versus the Reds. They won 22-12. And then in the surprise result of the weekend, the Sunwolves beat the Waikato Chiefs 30-15, convincing. And then the Rebels edged the Highlanders 24-19 before the Hurricanes put on a clinic versus the Brumbies to thump them 43-13.
Hello, my name is Iban Smith. I play for the Stormers and the Springboks. You're listening to ZiFM.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
To participate is quite simple, actually. All you need to do is send us a WhatsApp message with a hashtag ProFeedsTrivia, and you might be the one lucky listener we call back. You don't even use your airtime. We will call you back. You'll field 2 questions, and if you get both correct, you will be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning our fabulous prize for the month of March, which is a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. That is a fantastic prize. We'll be doing the draw on the 29th of March. It's a Friday, and that's the way to get into a weekend.
And today's lucky listener is DJ Bongs out in Eastleigh. DJ Bongs, how are you doing?
How are you, my guy?
The first thing we need you to do is give us your proper name. What's your name?
My proper name is Bongani.
Bongani, DJ Bongs. We love that because we wouldn't be able to get the prize to you if you won it. You know, we'd be looking for DJ Bongs in Eastleigh and no one will be able to tell us who that is. So, Bongani, thank you so much for listening into ZiFM Sport and for picking ZiFM Stereo as your favorite station. What team do you support, Bongani?
Locally, I do support Zimbabwe.
My man.
Internationally, I'm a Guna.
You're a Gunner, Arsenal.
Just like Sean.
Just like Sean, yes. Lovely, lovely. Well, are you ready for your 2 questions? One is local, the other one is international.
I'm ready.
Excellent. The first question, okay, we are taking our questions from the stories that we give you. And so if you have been tuned in, these should be easy. A Zimbabwean has made history this past week by becoming a chemical engineer in Formula One. Her name is Stephanie Travers. For which team is she going to be working for?
It's karate.
No!
Mate.
Can I ask the question again?
Yeah.
A Zimbabwean has made history by becoming a chemical engineer in Formula One. Her name is Stephanie Travers. For which team is she going to be working for?
Oh, Mercedes.
Yes, well done. Then your second question, how many career singles titles has Roger Federer won? How many career singles titles has Roger Federer won?
Can I have a clue on that one?
Oh, man. Should we give him a clue?
In cricket, likely if a batsman hits this number, you take off his cap, salute the pavilion.
Salute everybody.
Yeah. Somebody's just WhatsApped the answer.
Come on.
20.
No. We gave the story, Bongani. Come on. We gave the story. We talked about Roger Federer. It was a milestone achievement. And he managed to do so this past weekend.
Yeah. He got his ton.
How many career tournaments has Roger Federer won? He's won 20 Grand Slams, but how many tournaments has he won over the years?
And the number is in cricket, where the guy, after hitting it, he takes off his cap to salute the crowd. What number?
A century.
Yes!
What is a century? We're not going to call you DJ Bongs, we're going to call you Bongani.
But Bongani, wanga usina kuterera show, because kana wanga waterera show, you'd have got that one.
Yeah,
but,
we spoke about it.
But congratulations to you.
But I wanted you guys
to give you clues.
Congratulations to you, though. You are going to be in the draw on Friday, the 29th of March. And of course, you could win yourself that 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven.
Now, if you want to take advantage and get some of those Pro Feeds products that you get from Pro Feeds, the leaders in feeds, you can visit any of our stores located nationwide. Bulawayo, Bindura, Glendale, Gokwe, Gutu, Guruve, Marundera, Mashingo, Mount Darwin, we're there, Murewa, we're also there, Victoria Falls, as far as Wedza, Zhishavane. And let's tell you something, we are opening soon at Domboshawa Showground.
Domboshawa?
Domboshawa.
Oh, come on, Barry.
Domboshawa.
No. I'm not going to let you get away with that one.
Domboshawa. Showgrounds and Muzara Bani. In addition to our centers, we also have stock in all Metro Peach and Brown wholesalers nationwide. And also, you can pop into N Richards and a host of other agents. Simply ask for Pro Feeds by name.
Well, you take a tap in these circumstances.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, the performance feed.
We interrupt this program to announce that in the spotlight this week is the Econet Bulk SMS platform. Tune into the ignition, exhale, the big show and the rush to find out how you can grow your sales using the Econet Bulk SMS platform. All business owners, visit www.econet.co.zw. Select Bulk SMS, register and start advertising through SMS today. Terms and conditions apply. Econet Wireless, inspired to change your world.
The Rumble in the Jungle as the Warriors of Zimbabwe take on the Red Devils of Congo in the Africa Cup Nations Qualifier. Yes, it's going down on the 24th of March 2019 live at the National Sports Stadium. Who will survive the Inferno and stand out victorious? You don't want to miss this. So get your tickets now at www.clickandpay.africa. You can also purchase using EcoCash, Telecash, MasterCard, Visa, or ZimSwitch. All tickets to be bought in advance. That means no tickets at the gate. Tickets are going for $10 rest of the ground, $50 pay 15 to 18, and $200 for VIP. Entertainment from local and international artists. Gates will close at 1:30 p.m. and the match starts at 3 p.m. You've got to be there.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Castle Lager is more than just beer. It's pure liquid gold, crafted from the finest local ingredients to deliver a taste that is somewhat dry, somewhat bitter, but never sweet. It's the taste that stood the test of time. It all comes together with a castle.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. The league that makes football oh so beautiful. Where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
Lionel Messi is fine after a bruising Clasico clash with Real Madrid, says Barcelona head coach Ernesto Valverde. Messi appeared to be suffering from soreness in his groin early in the second half as Barca ran out 1-0 winners in Saturday's La Liga clash at the Santiago Bernabeu. After knocking Real out of the Copa del Rey on Wednesday, Rakitic's first half helped Barca stretch their lead at the top of La Liga to 10 points. Let's hear from match winner Rakitic.
Well, a perfect pass. Sergio left it for me brilliantly. I tried to just lift it over the keeper. It worked out perfectly, so I helped the team to win here. 3 points closer to our objective to win the league. So great night. That's what gives you wins in the end. You have to work hard. You have to do that here in the Santiago Bernabeu. We enjoyed this game a lot. Like I said, do you have to be physical? We do that. And I think we deserve the win.
Well, the Copa del Rey was decided that Barcelona is the only one still in the hunt of the two teams. Then you got to say to yourself, the league was decided on Saturday. Barcelona is the only one that's going to win the league, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think we sort of like knew this from about October, November. We knew that Barcelona were going to be the ones that had to throw the league away. It didn't look like a challenge was going to materialize from Real Madrid. They had that woeful start to the season, and then they wobbled as well, and they continue to wobble regularly. But this was the knockout blow. I think this was the one that sort of like put paid to Real Madrid's chances, any outside chances that anyone might have thought that Real Madrid had. I think we've now drawn a line in the sand, and we know where the title is going. We also anticipate where the Copa del Rey is going to end up, with Barcelona playing versus Valencia in that final. And I think for Real Madrid, it serves now to get them to focus on the Champions League, because that is the trophy where they have a chance of winning.
Yeah, and look, they've made the Champions League their own. But this is a very different Real Madrid side. It didn't look like they were at the races, were going to challenge Barcelona at any point. And even if they had got a goal, you could think to yourself that Barcelona always looked like they were going to win this match.
Yeah, Barcelona, they are too strong. I think they are too strong for Real Madrid. Real Madrid have got tired legs now, and they can't even match, technique, skill, and even strength. Even enjoy it. You can actually tell that Barcelona, even towards the end of the match, they still looked fresher than Real Madrid. You can actually tell that there is no match. Real Madrid, Champions League, the only trophy that is left, I don't see them winning it either, because the teams that are left in the Champions League, my guy,
there's some heavy teams.
But Alois brings up a very good point in terms of the latter stages of that match. The last 10 minutes where you'd have expected Real Madrid to be desperate to try and say, hey, you know what, let's try to make sure that we just at least put a dent in Barcelona. So we saw it with Everton versus Liverpool, where Everton fought until the very last minute of the game. With Real Madrid, it was almost like they were the likes of Modric, they were just all out on their legs. They couldn't run anymore, and even that belief that, we can get back into the game, it seemed to be lacking. I'm always one, Barry, to watch for body language whenever a team concedes.
It's very important.
And you should have seen the reaction from Sergio Ramos, etc.
Even Rafael Varane.
Yeah, when Rakitic scored that. It was one of those here we go again.
Yes. We are out. Heads dropped, shoulders dropped, and the entire Real Madrid setup seemed to resign to the fact that we're going to lose this game. And also, I think this win was significant. Mike, you're a keen student of Spanish football, and I'm going to read something out here, and I think it's emblematic of what that game signified. And the win also gave Barcelona a lead in the all-time series between the two clubs for the first time in 88 years, having now won 96 times to Madrid's 95. Not since 1931 has the Catalan club held the overall series lead. Changing of the guard.
Yeah, changing of the guard. And listen, if you're a keen student of Spanish football, I think we once held a social media competition, and we gave away this book, La Furia Roja, the story of Spanish football. And, that's something I think we need to do. I think we need to look for that particular book and other material that really tells the story of Spanish football and what Barcelona has had to overcome. to be able to match Real Madrid. Not in the last sort of like 30 years, because, you know, a lot of fans will be saying, hey, what are you talking about? But when you go back to the time when General Franco was ruling Spain as a dictator, and the amount of state support that went to Real Madrid, the manipulation of matches, the suppression of Barcelona, and how they were always suppressed. And so for them to have come out and eventually, they were so far behind. Let's be honest, guys. In the year 2000, Barcelona was so far behind Real Madrid. If you had told a Real Madrid fan that Barcelona before 2020 is going to have matched you in terms of wins,
they'd have laughed.
etc. They would have laughed. They'll say, oh, come on, what are you talking about? It's never going to happen. But they've managed to do so because the period from 2006 up to now in Spanish football has been the Barcelona era. It's been a golden era for Barcelona.
And when you look back, to be honest, I think some of the credit goes to Johan Cruyff as well.
Yes,
because the emergence of La Masia, you know, it's not working now, they're not producing now, but that golden generation, it came from La Masia. And that's when they started dominating, when those boys started getting into the first team. There was a time when they had 9 in the first 11 coming from that junior
and also a very shrewd recruitment policy, because the likes of Ronaldinho and all sorts came through on the cheap. These are players who then made names and became very expensive.
Samuel Eto'o, Thierry Henry, players like that, Iniesta.
Very shrewd recruitment policy at Barcelona, and so for them to get here is very complimentary.
And just to complement what Alois has said, that even though La Masia may not be producing the stars that it has over the last decade, the one thing that La Masia continues to do is it continues to dictate the philosophy of Barcelona Football Club. They're the one football club in the world that will not change the way they play. You know how Barcelona is going to play.
And
everyone knows.
You know what's coming, and it's like the steam train, isn't it? When the steam train is coming, you know what's coming, but you can't avoid it. It's going to roll over you. Now the news: Alvaro Morata scored twice in quick succession.
Man.
Alois' favorite player, he scored twice in quick succession as 10-man Atletico Madrid beat Real Sociedad to move back within 7 points of La Liga leaders Barcelona.
Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
Let's go to Italy, where Max Allegri insisted Juventus are not champions yet, despite opening a huge lead over Napoli at the top of Serie A. Juve took a giant step towards an 8th successive Scudetto by moving 16 points clear thanks to last night's 2-1 win at Napoli. Miralem Pjanic and Emre Can put Juve on track for a hard-fought victory in Naples, where both teams finished the top of the table clash with 10 men. And of course, Juve remaining undefeated after 26 matches with 23 wins and 3 draws. But of course, their head coach Allegri saying that the Scudetto is not decided. And of course, we know, that he's just trying to keep his troops motivated. He's just trying to make sure that they keep their feet on the ground. But it looks like that race is all but over. In fact, we acknowledge this probably as far back as October when Juventus hit their stride. But we saw something in that match last night. Napoli, the better side for long periods, even when they were down to 10 men.
They battered Juventus, absolutely battered them. I have not seen Juventus put bodies on the line, tried to defend, last-ditch tackles as much as I saw last night. Napoli was phenomenal. With 10 men, they were actually better than the 11. Then when it went to 10 each, oh my goodness, they got wind in their sails.
We talked, Alois, when we were talking about, I think in the build-up to the Merseyside derby on Friday, we talked about managing emotions around big matches. And in this game, Napoli were guilty of not managing their emotions. They needed to have made sure that, come what may, we need to stay as 11 so that we compete with Juventus. Because, I know it's easy to say this, but you got the feeling that had they been 11 they would have beaten Juventus. They could have beaten Juventus. But the problem is, they fell down to 10 men. They were immediately punished, and then a second goal followed. So even when they mounted their comeback too was going to be tough against defenders like Chiellini.
Yeah, it was going to be tough against the Juventus side. We know how solid Juventus are.
Experience.
You always have a chance if you're 11 versus 11. When you're one man down, they have got so many players that are so experienced that I don't think I'll put all my money that, you know what, you can't be beating, especially an Italian team, you can't be beating Juve when you're down by down.
If they have an advantage of 2 goals, you won't beat them.
You won't come back. Probably they put their foot back and say, you know what, we're just going to be very tactical.
But they missed a penalty, though. They missed a penalty. They could have got a draw. So
yeah, they could have. They did well. They did so
fantastically well.
Yeah. When you look at it back, for the past month, Juventus haven't been playing well at all. I think Napoli could have capitalized. Like Mike is saying, if they were 11, they could have capitalized, because Juventus themselves, they haven't been playing well. They've just been getting results, but they haven't been playing so well. They haven't been dominating.
Are they in a PSG situation, Barry? Because one of the things that we have felt here on the show about PSG and their inability to make a dent in Europe is because they are playing in a league that's not as competitive, where the matches week in, week out don't keep you sharp. No. Yeah. They don't keep you on edge. No. And Juventus, that might be the downside, because even we saw that 2-0 defeat to Atletico Madrid.
Yes.
I believe it's as a result of them having easy matches week in,
they're
week
winning
out.
Even if they're not playing well.
And that's it. Somebody hearing Aloy say Juventus isn't playing well might think that it's a slight on the quality at Juventus. No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
It is more a case of the players letting their guard drop and knowing that they're going to get a result week in, week out, whether they play well, whether they play badly. They are at such a higher level than everyone else in the league that they can do that. But when you go on the continent, you've got playing the best of the best, and you can lose, just like you've pointed out against Atletico.
Let's give you, of course, news of other results. Lazio moved within 3 points of 5th place. Roma in Serie A with a 3-0 victory over their city rivals. AC Milan leapfrogged rivals Internazionale into 3rd place in Serie A on Saturday with a 1-0 win over 10-man Sassuolo at the San Siro. An own goal from Paul Lirola in the first half was enough to earn Gennaro Gattuso's side 3 points, as visiting goalkeeper Andrea Consigli was sent off for a last-man challenge after the break. Just a quick comment from you, Alois. It looks like AC Milan have now found the formula.
I'm happy. It can only make me excited, because that's my team in Italy. So yeah, I hope that they continue doing that, but I just want them to recruit big name players. I hope they got into the Champions League.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
All right, Niko Kovac insists he's not thinking about Borussia Dortmund, despite seeing his Bayern Munich side pull level with them at the Bundesliga summit on Saturday. Long-time leaders Dortmund had opened the door for Kovac's men after suffering a shock 2-1 defeat to Augsburg on Friday, and the reigning champions took full advantage as they thumped Borussia Mönchengladbach 5-1. Honors even, or all even, at the top of the Bundesliga. Let's see how this one goes.
All the rivalry.
Likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
And of course, all the drama is in England, and that is where we touch down this evening. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says he was completely fine with chasing Manchester City after his side drew at Everton and missed the chance to return to the top of the Premier League. The goalless draw means that for the first time since the 7th of December, the Reds are behind their title rivals, having played the same number of matches. Let's hear from Jurgen Klopp.
Because it's not about being chased or that somebody chases you or you're the chaser. That's not important. The good thing is you are in a really good region of the table when that happens. So, and I'm completely fine with both roads. It's how I said now a few times. Who wants to be first, top of the table, beginning of March? It's nice, but a lot of games to come, a lot of games to play, a lot of things. We saw yesterday, I saw match of the day. And so the celebration of City, they had 900 chances or so and didn't finish with one in the short corner, pretty much a wrong foot or something like that from Mahrez. That's how it is, football. You have to be ready for these moments. We will be ready for these moments again. I said, the boys were again, the stability in the team was again there. So difficult to play against us, difficult to beat us, but decisive moments. Life is much more comfortable when you finish them really off. Today we didn't do it 100%, so that's all what happened.
Liverpool second in the Premier League, trailing Manchester City by 1 point as a result of Manchester City edging out Bournemouth 1-0 earlier. It means Pep Guardiola's side now have destiny in their own hands with just 9 matches remaining. But is it just 9 matches, Barry? 27 points, still a lot to play for.
Yeah, 27 points is a lot to play for, and one of these teams is going to have to go nigh on perfect to win this championship. And why I'm saying one of these teams, I feel is still open. There's still lots that can happen. 27 points to play for, any number of things. And by that, I'm not saying either of them can lose. Even a draw for either one of these teams is not a good result.
For Liverpool, though, it will be disappointing, Alois, seeing where they were in January, the opportunity that was before them. They could have really put some serious pressure on Manchester City. But in the last 6 weeks, Manchester City has clawed their way back into this title race, and they have got the form of champions at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's very disappointing, for Liverpool and their fans. The position was very good. You could actually tell on Pep's face when they lost the game that gave Liverpool the advantage of actually having a game in hand, leading by 4 points. Yeah. They actually had a chance to actually go 7 points ahead. And Pep, when he was saying, it's still game on, but you could actually tell from his face that he was actually resigning to Liverpool taking it. But then Liverpool gave it away. They brought Manchester City back. But hats off to Manchester City, they kept their composure. They just kept on winning their matches. And now, look at it now. It's now so much pressure for Liverpool, and it's not easy now to play, especially when you're coming from being on top, and now you are the one that are chasing now. Yeah. You remember you were saying that you would rather be in Liverpool's position than to Manchester City. Yes. Now it's the other way around now. Now you can imagine now having been on top, it's even an extended pressure. And I feel sorry for Liverpool players because, what is before them. The fans were expecting, and now, they can actually feel like, sometimes you feel like you're betraying the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I think the only good thing for the Liverpool players is that they've got 9 games to try and retrieve the situation. Let's take a look at the Premier League results. Bournemouth, like I said, beaten by Manchester City 1-0. Brighton upended Huddersfield 1-0 to snatch a precious 3 points. Crystal Palace too good for Burnley 3-1 on the road. Manchester United in a 5-goal thriller versus Southampton. Lukaku with a brace to win it, and of course they won it at 3-2. Wolves 2-0 over Cardiff. West Ham United beat Newcastle 2-0. Watford edged Leicester 2-1. Fulham beaten at home by Chelsea in a West London derby 2-1. Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal 1-1. They share the spoils in the North London derby, and the Merseyside derby saw a goalless draw between the Toffees, Everton and the Reds. Liverpool.
Yeah, that's all we have time for. We'll catch you tomorrow, 5 after 6. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.